really waiting to get information on that we're really hoping to hear this morning. The name of the person of interest slash suspect. We've heard it referred to, that person referred to both terms.
Yep.
Also, of course, the names of those 9 victims, pending, of course, as long as those families have been notified, and if they have a possible motive for this crime.
We know Governor Jared Polis is going to be there. He tweeted out a couple minutes ago that he will be attending this morning's press conference. Of course, still waiting for a lot of information from police. They were very tight-lipped last night, deservingly so, given that there is a lot of evidence to work through and a lot of details to fine-tune in this investigation. They say it could be upwards of several days, if not weeks. So we got a few more pieces of information last night, not much overnight. This is the first time they will be addressing the media this morning.
This is the largest public mass shooting in the United States since 2019 at that El Paso, Texas Walmart. Mia Villanueva was there. She was working in El Paso at the time, and she noted that after that shooting happened, it took several days, if not weeks, to collect all the evidence. So regarding to be very methodical with this, be very careful, because they want to make sure there is justice. So we need to be, I guess, limit our expectations on how much information we're going to get this morning. But again, like I just mentioned earlier, the name of the person of interest, and hopefully learning more about those people who lost their lives yesterday. We'll be able to know more about them, and hopefully, again, help those families who are grieving right now.
And also respect those families that are going through the unimaginable right now. We only know one of the victims so far, and that is Officer Eric Talley. His father telling our news partners in Denver that he was actually looking to move away from the force. He had been on the force for 11 years, father of 5, looking to do something safer, was hoping to become a licensed drone officer. Of course, leaves behind 7 children, his wife, his oldest child, 20 years old, his youngest, 7. He was the first officer to respond to the scene, many calling his actions heroic as he ran into that gunfire. And you can imagine these people were just going to get their groceries. Some were going to get a COVID shot, picking up eggs, a loaf of bread, and then to hear those shots ring out and the chaos that must have been going on in the aisles is just really hard to comprehend, because this was an everyday, ordinary errand that most people do.
Of course, absolutely. And Good Morning America spoke with someone who was there yesterday in the middle of the chaos. She was there with her son, said she heard what sounded like may have been a gunshot. She said she soon recognized it sounded like an AR-15 type weapon. She said, we have one option here: duck and try to run as quickly as you can to get out of here. She was visibly shaken still this morning, as we can only imagine the trauma this would cause someone. But again, Governor Polis kind of released those same sentiments, saying, hey, I can't imagine waking up this morning losing a loved one who just went to go pick up some eggs, and they're never coming home.
That's right. And Kroger also offered a statement saying that they are horrified and deeply saddened by the mass shooting that left 10 people dead at a grocery store in Boulder yesterday. The shooting happened at a King Superstore, which is a chain owned by Kroger. So a lot of people offering their condolences. Of course, it is a very tragic day and will be as we learn more information.
Sounds like they're ready to go up there in Boulder right now. Let's tune in.
And I can print out more of these.
All right, deep breath. You just heard from several officials up in Boulder this morning following that tragedy up north yesterday that killed 10 people inside the King Supers there in Boulder, including Officer Eric Talley. Bryn, we learned the name of the suspect.
We did.
21-year-old Ahmad Al-Issa from Arvada. They said that he's being held at the hospital right now. They did note that he has a gunshot injury to his leg. They said they expect him to be released later today. Will be booked into Boulder County Jail. An affidavit will be released soon after. One thing to note, however, we cannot jump to conclusions. They would not confirm if that bearded, shirtless man that we saw in handcuffs yesterday with a leg wound, they did not confirm if that was the suspect or not.
Correct, and there's no motive at this point. This person was not known to law enforcement. They will be releasing a photo with those documents and that warrant. They expect that to happen later today when he is released to the hospital and then taken over to the jail. We also heard from some other representatives, Governor Jared Polis, who is a Boulder resident, very familiar with the area. This has been a painful year, full of senseless loss. We must not become numb to it. I think that was a really poignant quote he gave. Looking at some of the victims, I did not get everyone's name written down quickly enough, but I know Danny Strong was the youngest at 20 years old, and then Jody was 65. So all walks of life, men and women on this victim list. And I think that's a really important thing to remember today. There can be a lot of focus on the suspect, but it's those 10 victims.
Yeah, we're trying to get the spellings of those names so that we can honor those victims and keep their families in our thoughts and prayers. Our web team has been doing a great job. They already posted a video on Twitter of the police chief Maris Held releasing those names. If you're going to go to our Twitter on KRDO, you'll see those names right there. We're going to keep you updated throughout the day. We'll have more on this, of course, on KRDO News at noon. One more thing before we go. It is important to note also that there was a name circulating on social media yesterday regarding rumors on who might have been the gunman. The DA, Michael Dougherty, did confirm that person has nothing to do with this crime. They do believe this shooter acted alone.
We have to listen to the sources, and I know it was hard yesterday because we were not getting a lot of information quickly, but this is obviously a huge investigation with several victims, so it was going to take time to work through some of that. So this was confirmed from the DA that that is the suspect's name, not the one that was circulating on social media yesterday.
Governor Polis called it a, quote, real horror and a terror for all of us just shopping in the grocery store.
Yeah, Joe Neguse going off that and saying this is the one thing we've been able to do during the pandemic is go to the grocery store. It should be a safe place.
Not the return to normal that we all hope or we want.
Just tragic.
Have more on KRDO News at noon. Thanks for tuning in.